In this video, we're going to be talking about the K-Jetronic, as you can see. If any of my videos helped you repair your car, then please hit the button thanks. If you, you, want to be the first one to watch my videos as they're fully uploaded, then become a supporter of the channel. And if you want to watch the service manuals, then become a donor. And if you would be kind, please, to support my Patreon, then here is the link to that site, and see you there also. Thanks. I was asked to do this video, so this is an on-demand video, although I'm speaking about the KE-Jetronic, but everything for my public. So let's go to that video, shall we? So let's pop up the hood and let's see what we're talking about. The K-Jetronic consists of the heart, the fuel distributor, the airflow sensor, the whir, and the injectors. In the beginning, the fuel distributor was made out of cast iron. Later, it was light alloy used. I believe it was aluminum. The fuel pressure regulator was integrated in the fuel distributor itself, and the system pressure could be changed in comparison to the KE-Jetronic, where it was not the case. This, what you see here, this is not the fuel pressure regulator, although it looks like something like this, but no, this is called damper, and this damper is just used to alleviate the vibrations coming from the fuel distributor. So you have one like this for the fuel distributor and whir, and the second one that was down there next to the fuel pump. And it was also predicted to alleviate the vibrations coming from the fuel pump. Afterwards, the fuel accumulator was the one which took over that task, so to speak. The system pressure was in range up to 5.6 bar, and the control pressure up to 4 bar. The duty cycle, let's say it like that, had to be achieved in 4 minutes. So the way K-Jetronic operates is that as you start the car, the revs raise up to 1500, maybe more, that depends of the specs. Still go almost 2000 RPM. So now we're basically almost 1500 RPM. And then in about 4 minutes, then the revs start falling and falling, and as the control pressure starts rising. Now, that is something I cannot tell you for sure for each of the warm-up regulator. Each one of them has its specs. Let's analyze this table here. It contains nominal values for the wear for almost all the cars that used K-Jetronic system. Audi, Volkswagen, Porsche, Renault, Ferrari, Volvo, etc. The wear was made in many different shapes, and the one for Ferrari, for example, is not compatible with the one for Volkswagen, Porsche, Mercedes, or Lotus. Each wear has 10 digits, and when you search your wear in the table, you will have to read 3 last digits. Let's take the 450 SLS example. Its wear ends up with 015. And we look in the table. By measuring resistance, we have to obtain 26 ohm. The system pressure has to be between 5.2 and 5.6 bar. The control pressure has to be between 1 and 1.4 bar at 10 degrees C, at 20 degrees C between 1.4 and 1.8, at 30 degrees C between 1.8 and 2.2 bar without vacuum, by removing the vacuum hose, simulating acceleration. At the operating temperature, you must obtain between 2.7 and 3 bar, and with the vacuum between 3.4 and 3.8 bar. When you meet these requirements, then you can say that your car is working properly. And now I'm going to give you the list for all the other cars for which I have values. The symptoms of a bad warm-up regulator: too rich mixture, but that's something that could be seen at the pressure gauge. When measuring the pressures on K-Jetronic, there is no improvisation. So something like this, unlike KE-Jetronic, this don't do the work. You cannot do it with something like this. This is what I mean when I say the improvisation. At first, hook it up here at the upper chamber and then here at the lower chamber. No, that don't do the work on K-Jetronic. For this purpose, you must have something like this. You must buy it here. And as you open it, there, as you can see, there are all kinds of attachments, fittings, blah blah blah, everything else. One of those is going to be this one. You must have that one with this valve, which you can either open or close. When you close this one, then you measure the control pressure. once you open it, you measure the system pressure. And now you take the gauge here and just like this, you fit it there, and with this gauge then you can read the pressures. So one part of it goes here on this line. It's number 14. Let's see if this adapter is the one. I think it is, but never mind. You will have to remove this line and the one at the upper chamber. Sorry, for these purposes I took the fuel distributor of KE-Jetronic, but so the other part goes here to the upper chamber, and then you measure the pressures. We had the thermo-time switch, which was running the cold start valve. We have the auxiliary valve, which had to supply the engine with additional air if the engine was under load in order not to stall. Afterwards, the task was taken over by the idle control valve, and there was a control unit for the idle control valve as well in the later versions. Concerning the KU-Jetronic, this U comes from the United States, as it was called in the USA, or KA in Europe, in Germany, but it's in fact K-Lambda, K-Jetronic system with O2 sensor. As we reach year 1982, then it comes to some additional ecological requirements in the USA, in California, and that's why Bosch came out with this idea. The idea was that now we get some kind of control unit with 6 pins, let's say it like that. We have the O2 sensor, we have the throttle position sensor, which requires 3 pins. We have the sensor for the engine oil and the frequency valve. Now, let's see what actually this frequency valve is. This is how it looks like. And it's actually a magnetic valve which changes the differential pressure in the fuel distributor. So we have the O2 sensor, which is being mounted in the exhaust pipe, and we have these 2 sensors more. Why? When you flat out, when you drive with your throttle fully open, or if the engine oil temperature is below 16 degrees C, then the lambda does not work, and there is no point then for it if you flat out. Then the control unit sends towards the frequency valve a constant duty cycle of 60:40 ratio. So the valve is 60% open and 40% closed. So now on KU-Jetronic, the damper had to be relocated, and as it was before, looking to the left of you, And now it was relocated to the right, and all because of the frequency valve to put it somewhere, because then it was directly connected from the damper, and the second part of it was connected directly into the fuel distributor. On the first airflow meters, we had a so-called safety switch. This switch had to turn off the fuel pump. Here, let me show you how it looks like. The first relays for AC as well as for the fuel pump relay, they were with 6 pins, and they did what the name says. They were just running the fuel pump and nothing else. And now, in this era of KU-Jetronic, then they are as we know how they look like. They have more rectangular shape, and now the thing we must know, every one of us, is how the fuel pump is being bridged. The first fuel pump relays were bridged using the contacts 2 and 3. The later models, as we got the fuel pump relays as we know them, those were contact 7 and 8. The first versions of the K-Jetronic did not have the overvoltage protection relay because there was no electronics there. It was completely unnecessary. Afterwards, as we got KU-Jetronic and we got some sensors, then we had to get the overvoltage protection relay if you, for example, charge the battery directly without disconnecting the negative, for example, then there was the relay to protect the components, not to fry them. The K-Jetronic was using the TSZ ignition type, the breakerless transistorized ignition, which timing could be, of course, adjusted and readjusted. So, if you liked this video,
please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified when we post new videos.
Then I would kindly ask you not to hit the button skip ad. That is going to help me a lot. And till some next one, happy Mercedesing. Bye.